Ila chindela lenywa ila muwa matinda batomu pendabye pete kabawelane jesubye ngene kabawelano ila chindela lenywa wa ila chindela lenywa ila muwa matinda batomu pendabye pete kabawelane jesubye ngene kabawelano ila chindela lenywa wa.
This is the African history class, and my name, Black Rasta. Of course, they say until the lion learns to tell his own story, the tale of the hunt would always glorify the hunter. That is why we have to tell our story. Yes, accurately, and of course, authentically. This is the African history class, and I'm most excited to be with you. We have heard his story, her story, their story. It's time now to tell our own story. Adequately, and of course, accurately, and authentically. Today, we are taking you all the way to the greatest empire that ever existed, the Ghana Empire. Today, we are telling you about a great king of this great empire, the greatest king who ever lived. A story you have never been told. Today, we are telling you the story of a man who rose to the level of a divinity and was worshipped. A man who could hang in the air, sit comfortably on the air, and be able to do whatever he wanted or liked, appear and disappear at will. Today we are telling you the story of Dinga Cisse. Does that name ring a bell? Dinga Cisse. Remember, this is the African history class. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is called the African history class. African is spelled A-F-R-E-E-K-A-N. History. Class is spelled K-L-A-S-S. Click on the notification button so every time we release such authentic histories, you'll be the first to see that. Today we're talking about Dinga Cisse. Now Dinga Cisse was born circa 700 AD. 700 AD. And when he was born, we do not know too much about his beginning. Neither do we know too much about his birth. He was a mystical figure, and you will soon get to understand. He was somebody who came from a faraway land in Africa. He did not really come from the Ghana Empire, even though he became the very first king of the unified Ghana Empire. Now, the Ghana Empire has nothing to do with the present day, modern day Ghana. In fact, the present country known as Ghana is 400 miles away from the original Ghana Empire in ancient times. We do not know exactly when the Ghana Empire started, but we can give you an idea of how it all started. Dinga Cisse came from a faraway land, and he came in as a trader and also as an agriculturist. He took care of so many animals, donkeys, horses, cows, and sheep. And when he settled in the area that got to be known as the Ghana Empire, he was a man who was so prosperous and full of respect. Dinga Cisse was a man who hardly spoke. He was a man of justice and honor. Hear me now. Now the Ghana Empire circa started somewhere around 750 AD when Dinga Cisse was only about 50 years old. That was when it started. How did it start? There were so many ethnic groups in the area. So many different ethnic groups. In fact, we had the Soninke. Some people would call them the Malinke. Some other people would call them the Jula. In present-day Senegal, you will find the Malinke and some other parts of Africa. They were those who dominated the Ghana kingdom. Now, the Ghana Empire, where was it found? It was found between the northern part of Senegal and the southern part of Mauritania. It was such a powerful empire, and you are soon going to know about this wonderful empire. Now, Dinga Cisse came in around 750 AD, and he was a very spiritual person. He decided to be on the hills and also in the valleys, taking care of his animals and also involved in agriculture. The land was so fertile. Oh, very beautiful land. And there was a state known as Takrur. Takrur was located in the valley of the upper Senegal. Oh my God. It was so fertile. People believed that even if you planted stones, they would grow. It was so fertile. Everybody was trying to do farming in this wonderful state known as Takrur. Hear what happened now. Now, when Dinga Cisse arrived, he went onto the mountains. He was also in the valleys, tendering his animals and also involved in agriculture. So many people would come to him for advice. He would offer them good advice. He was a very spiritual person who fasted most of the time. And every time, he would be muttering powerful words to himself. In no time, people realized that he had the power to cure sicknesses. Oh, people even realized that apart from being a wise counselor, he could heal. And at the same time, he was also able to tell the future. So he was a prophet. At the same time, he was a physician. Oh, he was a herbalist, a farmer, and he was a mystic figure. People started mentioning his name around the area. And in those days, there were nomadic invasions of the area. People came in to attack, to steal some portion of the land, even steal animals and some other kind of wealth. Dinga Cisse was gradually making name. Everybody was moving up to him for some piece of advice. Some people would even go to him with spiritual problems, and he was able to solve all these things. Some people even claimed that they saw him on top of their roofs without touching the roof. Yes, he was sitting comfortably in the air and was talking to them. He was a man who could appear and disappear at will. Anyone who was sick, he didn't need to be told. He would appear before this sick person, heal the sick person, and then disappear back onto the valleys and the hills and mountains of the area that later got known as the Ghana Empire. In no time, they discovered that there was gold in the area. Yes, there was gold in the area. And the gold was so huge that people came from all other places, including Europe, to come in there and be part of the gold business. The gold was in the upper Senegal River area, known as Bambouk. So much gold. In fact, the historian named Al-Hamdani wrote that the Ghana Empire was the richest area ever seen in the history of man and womankind. In fact, he wrote that the Ghana Empire had gold mines which were the richest on earth. Al-Hamdani. So as people were going to Dinga Cisse, in no time, he became the local chief. And then he rose to the level of the king of the Ghana Empire in 1750. Hear me now. He was able to bring so many different laws in conjunction with the people. Oh, you cannot do this. You can do this. And he went into full-scale mining in Bambouk. Takrur was used for pure agriculture. And so many people were trained to become architects, builders, masons, and so on and so forth. The road network in the Ghana Empire was so wide and powerfully laid that people wondered how this kind of wisdom and intellect came to the people of the area. So they decided to name it Ghana. In fact, it was named by people who came into that area. And Ghana is a Soninke word which means blacksmith. Ghana also became the title of the king called Dinga Cisse. Like Nana in Ghana is a title for the king. Na in the northern part of Ghana amongst the Dagombes means king. Dinga Cisse became the very first king of the Ghana Empire in default. And during his reign, oh my God, hear me now, there was not even one single poor person in the whole of the Ghana Empire. There was so much gold. There was so much copper. And they were also engaged in slavery, slave selling. Remember I told you about the nomadic invasions. When people came to attack the Ghana Empire, they were arrested and sold into slavery. So people came to fear the Ghana Empire. They were so good with guerrilla war tactics. And everybody was scared to enter into the Ghana Empire and the Dinga Cisse to fight. Agriculture boomed. At the same time, architecture was on top. And people came from Spain and some other such areas coming there to learn architecture and also to trade. Not one person in the area was ever poor. Trade routes went as far as to Morocco and beyond. And camels were used. And it was such a beautiful thing to uphold. Dinga Cisse ruled the kingdom for a long time until he announced to the people, you see the way I entered like a thief in the night without anybody seeing me. It's the same way I shall leave you like that same thief in the night. But when you wake up one day and you don't see me, you know that I have returned to where I came from. One day, Dinga Cisse was seen all over the place, talking to so many different people, telling them that this was the very last time he was going to be seen around. He was a man who could hang in the air. He was a man who didn't need to sit on any donkey. He would appear and disappear. He rose to the level of a divinity and people worshipped him in the Ghana Empire. He was their God. So powerful. Now Dinga Cisse was able to unify the Ghana Empire, the ethnic groups that were there, and he became the very first king. But that was not the only thing he did. He also developed and instituted another capital known as the commercial capital at Audaghust. So you see, they have the political capital and at the same time they had the powerful commercial capital. Now the political capital, or what you would call the administrative capital, was at Kumbi Saleh, and Audaghust became the commercial capital. Dinga Cisse's Ghana Empire became so huge and so strong, so rich that it became the envy of many. One day, they woke up and Dinga Cisse was not there. On the mountains, they saw smoke. They realized that the mountains were shaking, and they realized that something unusual had happened. And when some elders were dispatched to go up on the hills and find out what was happening, they realized that even the capital, Kumbi Saleh, was shaken. There was nobody in there. It was so empty. Dinga Cisse never had a wife. Dinga Cisse never had a son. Dinga Cisse was the beginning and the end. Being Dinga Cisse was almost like Melchizedek. He didn't have a beginning, neither did he have an end. Dinga Cisse was more than just that. He had a beginning and he had an end, yet he didn't have a beginning and had no end. Dinga Cisse became the very first king of the great Ghana Empire. Today, we are talking about Dinga Cisse, the greatest king Africa ever had, the most powerful king Ghana ever thought about. And I'm talking about the ancient Ghana Empire. No wonder today the modern day Ghana has decided to pick up this powerful name so that it will relieve the power of the ancient Ghana kingdom. And it was Kwame Nkrumah who gave us this name or this idea. Today, we have been talking about Dinga Cisse, that powerful first king of the Ghana Empire, who we will never ever forget. Dinga Cisse evaporated into thin air. He never came back. Maybe as we speak, his spirit is lurking around us, so disappointed that what he started could not go any further. Yes, Dinga Cisse will remain that powerful figure in our history. In the reign of Dinga Cisse, nobody was strong enough to attack this empire because they knew what was in wait for them. Today, we remember Dinga Cisse. Oh, Papa. Oh, Papa. Papa, ya feel Papa. Papa, me say ya feel, oh, ya feel, Papa. Oh, Papa. Unukpa fefe. Unukpa fefe. Oh, Papa. Papa, bye bye yo. Papa, huya mobo. Papa, huya mobo. Sabre biyo. Papa, uniyaminko. Dinga Cisse. Uniyaminko wate. Uniyaminko, the Melchizedek of the Ghana Empire. Uniyaminko. In the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know, what would you do? Now that you know the story of Dinga Cisse, how would this story impact your own life in present times, in contemporary times? As early as 750, he was able to get 2 capitals for the Ghana Empire. 1 administrative capital or political capital and 1 commercial capital. Kumbi Saleh and 1 Audaghust. Today we remember you, Papa. Papa, ya kai you. Papa, me say ya kai you. Now that you know what you do, the burden of knowledge. Biana ni ole, mini obafe, yenzunda kagane, mezaka yine, ye akpa bango, bukaya nang, fifia ye nya, nukai na wo, bana ehu, ebe den, misi bana ehu, ebe ya bade, lela ya njima singa abe kunne, lela ya njima singa aberi. Oh, it's been the African History class. And my name, Black.
Ila chindela lenywa. Ila muwa matinda batomu. Pendabye pete kaba welane. Jesu bien ngene kaba welano. Ila chindela lenywa wa. Ila chindela lenywa. Ila muwa matinda batomu. Pendabye pete kaba welane. Jesu bien ngene kaba welano. Ila